Hello and welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Dan Costa, he is Sasha Segan, and we've got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about the top tech news, we're going to do one cool thing off the shelf in the lab, and we're going to answer some of your reader questions. Sasha, let's get to the big story of the day. We covered this yesterday. Bitcoin founder unveiled. Turns out, maybe not.
So it turns out Satoshi Nakamoto is Satoshi Nakamoto, but may also not be Satoshi Nakamoto. We're not sure. It's a fog of Bitcoins out there.
So Newsweek ran with the story. They said this is the guy who invented Bitcoin. He created the algorithms. He released it. He's responsible for it. We talked to him. He sort of kind of admitted it and kind of didn't. And then as soon as the story comes out, he says, actually, he told the AP, I have nothing to do with this.
Well, I mean, what happened yesterday was a deeply humiliating moment for journalism, and I'm not talking about the Newsweek story. I'm talking about shortly after the Newsweek story came out, apparently every semi-professional reporter in LA decided to mob this poor guy's house. Now, the guy is, by all accounts from the Newsweek article, and as far as we can tell, this is accurate, obsessively private, a conspiracy theorist, a guy who dislikes big government and big organizations, and who worked in classified industries for years. So he's not the kind of guy who would respond well to basically a giant scrum of people with cameras trying to crash through his door, which is what happened. He leaves his house, he picks one reporter to buy him sushi, this is an AP reporter, and then the entire rest of the LA press corps chases him and the AP reporter in his Prius in an OJ-style slow-speed chase across Los Angeles. I mean, have some dignity, people. Yeah. Have some dignity.
By the end of the day, everybody had written the story, everybody had written his denials, and yet we really still don't know whether he's the guy. If you look at the Newsweek story, I don't find the sourcing incredibly credible, and yet at the same time, given even the fact that he would deny it also sort of makes it seem like this could be the guy.
Yeah, and in fact, in the Newsweek story, his brother said, oh, my brother's going to deny it. So what we have here is a mystery, and what has to happen now is for Newsweek to have any credibility at all, for Newsweek to have a shred of credibility in the universe, the writer and editor have to step up and say, this is why we're sure it's true. Yeah. This is our proof. Because otherwise, this story is going to pass into the annals of what the heck is going on with you people.
It could be a big miss. I'll tell you what's going on with Twitter and Vine. So Twitter yesterday changed their terms of service, and they're going to ban pornography on Vine. Vine, of course, the short video messaging service that they acquired, has had a little bit of a I wouldn't say it's a problem.
No, I wouldn't say it's a problem. Okay, the pornography industry is a huge industry in this country, and the pornographers know how to use social media and love to use social media. And if you look at the social media accounts of porn companies, they have, you know, tens, hundreds of thousands of followers. And so Vine happened, and so they started putting porn on Vine because they put porn on Twitter, and I'm sure they have.
Where there is media, there is porn.
Exactly, exactly. Where there is internet, there is porn. That's Rule 34. That's as old as I am. So, a
little older than that.
Okay, okay. But in any case, so, however, Vine porn is a little more explicit by being video, I guess, than what the porn stars are posting on their Twitter accounts. Yes.
Very brief.
Yes. It
very
really,
brief.
What can you do in 6 seconds?
So, you know, there's medicine for that. There's actually, so it turns out it's not going to be pre-vetted, it's going to be based on complaints. If you see something, say something, you flag it, it'll get taken down. Kind of expected. If they want to go mainstream, they've got to make decisions like this. Also in the news, and this is actually probably the most important news of the day, real news, commercial drones are now legal. They have been judged legal by an administration judge at the NTSB, who's basically invalidated 7 years of FCC regulations, which have banned the use of commercial drones. Commercial drones are now legal, but it may not stay that way forever.
Yeah, first of all, FAA, not FCC.
Okay.
Okay, Aviation Administration.
Right.
They're probably going to appeal, so this will go up to a higher court, which will decide who has jurisdiction over this and what they can do. And the FAA was planning to find ways to legalize drones anyway, probably in 2 or 3 years after doing a lot of testing. A couple of months ago, they picked these 6 test areas across the country for drones. But right now, it's a drone free-for-all, and I really, really wonder what's going to happen. Like, I wonder how soon Will Greenwald is going to go up on the deck on the 13th floor of this building and start flying drones off the building, and the NYPD is going to be at our door, and we are going to see what happens.
I officially do not condone that behavior. Let's just say that right off the bat. Let's move on to a reader question. We've got reader questions that come in via email, via Twitter, on our YouTube page. We invite them, we answer them. This question actually comes in from Chloe via email. She's working on a dissertation on the impact of apps on the news industry and the journalism business, and she wants to know what apps that people use to share and promote news are the biggest threat to journalism.
No, I think that the use of the word apps here is really weird, because why are we segregating specific mobile applications away from the concept of websites or aggregators or other forms or elements of the internet? Because I don't think you can segregate it like that, especially since most apps are just the native mobile forms of also websites.
All right, so she asked the wrong question. That's the first part. And then, so what do you think the threats to journalism are? Because everybody seems to agree that journalism is under attack by social media and all these new tools. What do you think that people should be most concerned about?
I mean, I think people should be most concerned about the promotion of unverified information. And how quickly viral unverified information can go, Satoshi Nakomoto. And that means that, I mean, they're not apps, but I would say Twitter and Reddit, which are not apps at all, though they have apps. You can download an app for each one, which are fabulous ways of exchanging information. I mean, I use Twitter very heavily, are also very dangerous to the concept of journalism, because they become this massive game of telephone where you don't know the reliability of information you're repeating. And when it comes to journalism, in my view, what makes us journalists different from someone repeating a rumor on the street is that we are assuring you that there is some level of reliability in our information.
I think that I would actually, I agree with that. I would also pick apart the question a little bit more. I don't think that journalism is really under attack. I actually think all these new technologies enable even more journalism. I think the social networks self-correct, so there's lots of errors out there, but they get corrected very, very quickly. And what's really under attack and the real threat is not the institution of journalism, but the ability to make money as a journalist,
yes.
The ability to monetize it in this flood of information. So it's really the industry that's under attack, not the practice itself. I think it's a better time to be a journalist now than ever before, unless you want to get paid.
So okay, so basically what we've said is we disagree with the use of the word apps and the use of the word journalism.
That's right. Come to us anytime with more questions, and we will criticize your questions. Let's move on to something which is less controversial. One cool thing: we test thousands of products here in the lab in New York City. Every day we take one thing off the shelf and show it to you live. Today, that thing is the HP Chromebook 11, which is our new editor's choice for Chromebooks. It is it's a Chromebook, so it's very affordable, $300. But the thing that makes this Chromebook different, and the thing that we've been asking for in Chromebooks since they came out, is LTE. It's a built-in, always-on cellular modem, because this does not really work without an internet connection.
Yeah, I used a Chromebook, actually the previous version of this Chromebook, as my primary home computer for 2 weeks. And I have to say, all of those Chromebook fans out there who say it works just fine when it's not connected to the internet, nonsense. It only really works when it's connected to the internet. So having LTE in one of these things actually makes it something that you can take around. That said, this is really expensive Verizon LTE, which there's an upside and a downside to that. Verizon has by far the best LTE coverage in the country. So your Chromebook finally becomes something which will work at relatively high speeds everywhere, but it kind of neutralizes the really low cost of the Chromebook.
Yeah, because it's $50 a month for the LTE subscription, which you're probably going to want if you get this, although you don't have to. It's $299. And it has Wi-Fi, so you can still use your Wi-Fi plan. But can you put it on a shared plan?
Yeah, that is the key, okay? And what this becomes is a killer device for people who already have the Verizon Share Everything plans. If you have a Verizon Shared Data plan, you can add this for only $10 a month, and then the economics really seem to work out. When I was using it as a home device, I was finding for basic uses, email, web browsing, Google Docs, which we use a lot here at the office, it's absolutely fine.
So that's PCMag Live for today. Thanks for tuning in. You can read this full review on PCMag.com. I'll be going to be at South by Southwest next week. You can go to PCMag.com and follow my coverage there. You will be running the show next week with a variety of different guests.
We'll see how that goes.
Please tune in. We'll see you then.